In what I would argue is an unsurprising poll, the majority of Americans have lost faith and trust in US institutions. Now, this is something that I believe we can all already suspect based on the fact that Congress, for instance, has failed to provide any robust legislation that would actually transform our lives. But there are other institutions included in this Gallup study. So I'm going to show you this graph because it gives you a sense of the various institutions that they looked at. Just know that green signifies very little trust or no opinion at all. And the blues indicate some trust or a great deal of trust. So if you look at newspapers, only 8% of respondents said that they have a great deal of trust in these newspapers. 13% say quite a lot, but a whopping 39% of respondents say that they have very little trust in newspapers. The criminal justice system certainly doesn't fare much better. Only 7% say that they have a great deal of trust in our criminal justice system. 13% say quite a lot, but 39% say very little trust in our criminal justice system. Big business is fascinating, with 38% of Americans responding by saying that they have little trust in big business. I wish that this number was actually higher, but about 9% say they have quite a lot of trust. I'm sorry, 9% say quite a lot of trust, 9% say a great deal of trust. Television news, only 6% say they have a great deal of trust in television news, 10% say quite a lot, and 48% say they have very little trust in television news. Congress is also fascinating, with 47% of respondents saying that they have very little trust, and 5% say they have a great deal, only 7% say they have quite a lot of trust in Congress. 37% say some trust. I've got some trust in Congress, but nearly 50% of Americans say no trust at all. And look, I don't think that these results are all that shocking, given the division in the country, the failure of various institutions to get us the right information in time, educate us on issues that matter, and also with government to do literally the only role that government is supposed to have, which is keep people safe. I mean, we just experienced and are continuing to experience a global pandemic, and we already saw the failures of our federal government in responding to it, and local governments.
Yeah, so I want to focus on the three that came in at the very bottom. All right, coming in at number one worst, least trusted institution was Congress. We theoretically live in a democracy. Only 12% of Americans trust Congress. And by the way, they're right, okay? So then number two was TV news at 16%. So almost no one trusts TV news. And they're also right. Now, why are they at a point where they don't trust TV news? And as you saw with print journalists, they didn't fare that much better, right? Because TV news is the one that tells you that Congress is awesome. Oh, these beloved politicians are having actual debates about the filibuster because they care about Senate traditions. No one at home believes that.
Can I just jump in on that? Because it's such an important point, and I want to add an example. So the story that I can't stop thinking about is the one that was reported by Ken Klippenstein and Ryan Grimm at The Intercept, okay? They do fantastic reporting over at The Intercept. They actually break stories. And so they obtained that audio of Joe Manchin speaking to that group of billionaire donors, the No Labels group, right? And that story was so important because it made it abundantly clear that Joe Manchin doesn't actually believe that bipartisanship is possible. He needs corporate donors to bribe Republicans to vote in favor of some legislation along with Democrats so he can give this illusion of bipartisanship. No one in the media covered that other than The Intercept and independent outlets like us, right?
Yeah, while some people pretending to be on the left are attacked The Intercept. Are you insane? They're the only ones doing real journalism. Anyways, so now the other story that rings in our ears is the one we've been telling you about, including earlier in today's show, which is when Greenpeace in the UK exposed the ExxonMobil lobbyist, where he explains how they bribe the politicians, right? He calls it everything but a bribe. He says, oh yeah, they need us, we need them, we give them money and then for their elections, and then they basically give us votes. I mean, so the press knows these two stories. And they go, I don't care. No, they're having a real debate. What are Lindsey Graham's principles? What are Joe Manchin's principles? Principles, ideas, but you already know they're corrupt. You already know they do it for the money, but you won't ever share that. So that's why Americans don't trust you. They think you're full of crap. And guess what? You are. And then that leads us to the third least popular institution in America, big business. And that comes in at 18%. Also roundly despised. If you want to give some sort of context so you understand, wait, do Americans, are they just bitter and they hate everything? No, small business comes in at 70%. So people get it. Hey, Joe down the street runs the coffee shop. I like Joe. I like his business. I like the flower shop down the street. They're not anti-business. They just know that big business is screwing them.
And also eating up the little businesses.
Yes, and by the way, they're also right about that. Now, what does TV news and print journalists tell you? No, you're wrong. Don't believe your lying eyes. Big business is wonderful, and hey, they pay no taxes. That's okay, and you should pay the taxes. Well, that's the moderate position, right? So you have corporate media supporting giant corporations and corporate-owned politicians, and then the American people rightfully, correctly go, well, we hate you all. Okay, and then, but last part of this, Anna, is then the media turns around and is indignant. Like, I guess 84% of Americans don't know what they're talking about because we nailed it. Corporations are awesome, and so are politicians. And then there's genuinely aghast when people like us say, we think you might be part of the crooks. And they're like, oh, how could you say that, right? Oh, get off of it. 84% of the country agrees with us and not you.
Listen, I mean, and look, there are pretty severe consequences for America as a result of this lack of trust in institutions. So the example I always like to give is the QAnon example, right? Because while I think the commentary that we typically get is pretty like just mocking QAnon believers, and I get why. Understand why it is that whatever evidence or whatever reporting you see in mainstream media or corporate media that's meant to counter or debunk the conspiracy theories that QAnon believers believe, they've lost trust in those institutions. So they're going to automatically disregard whatever comes from the mainstream media in regard to debunking their conspiracies. And that's a problem. That really is a problem, because here's the other issue. For all the flaws that corporate media has, and we talk about it every single day on this show, they unfortunately also happen to be the ones who have the resources to do investigative reporting. Right? Like, they're the ones who have the resources to do actual journalism. And it sucks because they like totally ruin that opportunity with the pro-corporate bias that they have in their reporting, because no one trusts them. And then we're all harmed by that, right? We're all harmed by that.
No, a free press is absolutely essential to a democracy. So the right wing says, hate the media, and don't listen to them, listen to our propaganda. Scientists are wrong, professors are wrong, the media is wrong. Just listen to us. Oh, oil is awesome. It's gonna do wonders for this country, right? And for the world, etc. So you have that side, and you don't want to enable that side. You want a real press that holds the powerful accountable, but instead they do the opposite. They protect the powerful. So it drove the right wing out of their minds until they were like a satanic child sex ring. That sounds more plausible than honest politicians. And now some small portion of the left wing is beginning to lose their mind, going, we're gonna shut off our mind and we're just tear everything down, right? So the press is literally driving the country crazy with their corruption. But if you ever tell them that, they go, oh God, no. Everybody's a radical, 85% of the country's radical. We're the beloved press, and we know that corporations and politicians are awesome. You're lying, and we all know it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.